Life doesn't always deal us the best hand, but for one woman, she's showing us that she can take something positive out of any situation. We're joined now by author Rebecca Masden. Rebecca, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, well, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, Jasmine, for having me. I'm honored to have this time. Like you said, I'm Rebecca, and most people know me right now as the dead girl walking. I was given a terminal cancer diagnosis actually 2 years ago, and they gave me only 3 months left to live. And so, you know, that's quite a change in the direction I thought that my life was going. And so, you know, what do you do whenever you are sitting with yourself and you have to think, okay, well, I only have 3 months left to live. Now what do you do with your life? And so that is what brings us here today. By the grace of the Lord, I'm still around, and it has came back. We found out the cancer's back in my spine last week, but I have, instead of 3 months, he extended what I call my work visa here on earth a little bit longer. And so I have used this time to write a children's book.
Where are you from originally?
I am originally from North Alabama.
From North Alabama?
Yes,
so right here in our state.
Yeah, I'm a local. I'm an Alabama girl through and through. You can definitely tell by my accent, especially after I talked with my mama, you know.
What made you say, I want to write a children's book, especially?
Yeah. You know, it's funny, when news got out about my illness and my, you know, the 3 months left to live, true Alabama fashion, you know, small town, everybody was reaching out, wanted to know what was going on, and you know, I kept being told that people would love for me to write a book and tell my story. And so when I started, you know, getting deeper into my faith and really kind of taking that time to meditate and honestly pray, like, Lord, is this your will? Never thought I was a writer, you know, we'll see, and what would that look like? And I just felt an overwhelming amount of peace to focus on children's books. And so then one thing led to another, and I started the series, Sebastian Explores. And so this book that you have right now, that I believe you said you actually got to read it.
I read it this morning.
This is the first of many.
Sebastian Explores Baptism.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Sebastian and this story, the story of his baptism.
Yes, so it definitely, this book, the first of the series, kicks you off with so much fun and adventure. You know, it's truly just a fun, kind of little colorful adventure where you follow 5-year-old little Sebastian. And if you know any 5 to 8-year-old children, they're so much fun, you know. Definitely,
everything's an adventure.
It's an adventure. They're curious, wants to know a little bit about everything and why, you know. And so that's exactly what the reader and the parents, you know, that's what they're going to get with Sebastian. They're going to open up this book and follow along his journey and his adventure and start noticing perhaps in their own life similarities where, you know, through this adventure, as he's trying to discover a little bit about what's going on with this idea of this word they call baptism, you see Sebastian learn a lot about himself. He learns a lot about his faith, and then he learns a lot about the wild world around him. You know, so super relatable, and I like to say it's kind of like the perfect bedtime story.
Rebecca, you are so positive and cheerful and even comical during this journey of yours. That would be so difficult for some people. What tips do you have for other people who are struggling or dealing with some sort of journey or their own, especially this holiday season?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's what a thing to think about, right? I mean, you know, even if you're not like me, where maybe you don't have cancer, but it's the holiday season and we all struggle at some point with something, you know? And so I think for me, what I found the most helpful is when life gets crazy and chaotic and you kind of feel like you're in the trenches and you're in the storm, it's really hard to see outside of that, right? So I think for me, the first step would be to, you know, kind of zoom out. So I like to get outside, get in nature and regroup, you know, quiet things down. Quiet down the chaos around me. And then, you know, secondly, for me, you know, I like to kind of take the opportunity to honestly get into prayer. And for me, you know, my faith was really able to show me what it was made of in this moment. Because when you are at death's door, you know, what I learned was in prayer and in blind faith, I didn't focus on my problem, you know, I didn't focus on the storm. I focused on the person that I knew was in control of it, the one that was actually in control of the storm, my Lord. And so then I was able to kind of hover over those circumstances. You know?
How can people learn about Sebastian
Yes,
and about
well,
his adventure?
I would love all of your support. You know, I told you the cancer's back, so kind of what I've been saying, my last adult Make-A-Wish is, you know, if everyone would get behind me and support the book, and you can learn all about that and everything else that we're doing on my website, RebeccaMasden.com.
Your website has a beautiful timeline at the top. I can't paraphrase what it's called, but you call it almost, not really a countdown, but a count up almost.
Right. Yes.
I love that.
I think it's so important.
I love that.
You know, a lot of people they know what a countdown is, but what you'll see, I'm so glad that you noticed that and picked it up on my website. I wanted to do something a little different because, you know, normally if you say the C word, you have cancer, or gosh, God forbid, you say, I'm dying, you know, I've got to plan my funeral, wanted you to know you were invited. You know, what a strange conversation. So it makes people a little uncomfortable, a little uneasy. And so when you can truly bring a little humor and a little joy to it all, it changes things. And so for me, that count up is every extra day from the original day I was supposed to die. My death date originally was September the 1st of 2022. And so every day that goes by and the Lord has decided to still keep me here, it's something to celebrate.
You're still here writing books and selling books. She wants you to buy and support and learn all about Sebastian as he explores baptism. Give folks your website.
Yes.
And more how they can learn about you and your journey.
Thank
and
you.
learn about sweet little Sebastian.
Yes, thank you, Jasmine. Again, RebeccaMasden.com. I will say something that's super important to me is the children, you know, and so as I'm kind of facing, you know, next week I'll go back into radiation, and it's back in my spine, so we're going to be focusing on that next week. And so something that I think is so important when you're suffering is if you can kind of take yourself out and your focus out from yourself and really focus on how you can use any storm and any suffering, you know, to not be meaningless, use it for the greater good and for others around you, then you can get through anything. And so for me, what I'm trying to do right now is I created a campaign, you can see it on my website, where my goal is to donate as many of these books as I can this holiday season to all of the children that are in our local ICUs in our state this holiday. So, you know, by myself, I know through the Lord I can do a little bit, but I'm sure you can agree with me, you know, with everyone rallying behind me and us all being together, we can truly do a lot. So I would appreciate any help and support. And you can find out more at RebeccaMasden.com.
All right, Rebecca, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We truly appreciate it.